keeps you alive.
What's up, everybody? We had a very interesting day today. We have INTC that was down almost 30% at one point. The Qs are down about 3%. We had Amazon reporting that's down probably 10% or more at one point. We have the VXX, which is the VIX, is the fear index, is just like ripping today. So a lot of volatility, a lot of uncertainty overall in the market, which creates really good day trading opportunities. I wasn't able to capitalize as much as I would have hoped today, had a few different issues, so let's dive into it. So the first trade I took was on Dash. They had earnings, and you can see that they put in like a top here in the 5-minute. If we just look at the close, the fib on the close, you can see that like it pulled back over 50% of this move. And I just feel like a natural pullback should be about 3%. And so whenever you have sorry, not 3%, 30%. Whenever you have a pullback that's 50% of a move, it really doesn't give me confidence. And so I was looking to short this. It was selling off. We had like pre-market support. And so it kind of pops up into this pre-market support area and then just fails. So on the 1 minute here, I just get short as a back through open. And but then it starts to rebid off of the lows. Throw these charts back on here. So yeah, it just starts to rebid off the lows and start to consolidate. So here I should have gotten out on this multi-bar break, but it was very kind of spready and wasn't trading very cleanly. Even though it was like about 5 RVol, this thing was a little spready and kind of crazy. So it goes right up to high of day. It doesn't stop me out, which is interesting because it does get a little bit above that high, and then it starts to hold VWAP and then puts in basically another higher low. So I get out on that break. So decent trade. I feel like, yeah, the only thing I should have done a little bit better, since I wanted to give this, the market was so weak today, and so I was just wanting to basically short a pop. And so I think giving it this room, like I could have taken some off when I saw this area, but since it was like a higher time frame idea, I really thought this could melt down. And so I think the best exit would have been right here. But good trade overall. Next trade I took was on QQQ. Not terribly happy about this trade. So basically QQQ runs up, does an opening range break, and goes into, I think, right into low of day, or NVDA does at least, right into low of day, and then it kind of puts into a backside. And so I took this as a backside trade, and then I immediately got out of it because I am not currently taking backside trades. So yeah, I just got out of it because it's not a trade that I should be taking right now. Not necessarily a bad trade, and in fact, if I would have, held it, it sold off a lot. So I think it's a good idea, just not something I'm doing right now. So I also like that I got out of it when I recognized that I was doing something that I should not be doing at this moment in my trading career. Next, I took INTC. Now, this is an interesting one. I took INTC for a VWAP continuation, so it's down 30%. It makes a bounce and it tries to, do like a rubber band, kind of fails, go a little bit lower, and then it's able to come back into VWAP. And you can see really there's a good amount of consolidation. This is this prior resistance area that wasn't able to stay above, and then it kind of puts in a low and then starts kind of bouncy balling through that level. So this is what it looks like on a 2-minute, and I do trade these off of the 2-minute. So very clearly you can see that it just, remove these lines, you can see that it just rebids off the 90 MA and then tries to go higher, can't, and then fails on higher volume. So I just get short at the break of this 2115 level and take it all the way down into low of day, where you can see we actually do put in an opening range break. And I thought this thing was going to sell really hard if we did get an opening range break on volume, which is what we got. But then it rebids, and so I just get out of half my position. The thing I do want to mention is that this was on SSR, so short sale restriction. What is SSR? I haven't really talked about it. So basically, anytime a stock is down a lot, so I think it's a 10% or more, then it just goes on SSR, short sale restriction, which basically just means that you can only short on an uptick. So normally you just hit the bids whenever you want to sell something, and that way you're just whatever the bids are offering, you're taking that offer essentially. And so they remove that ability to hit the bids as a way to kind of protect stocks from getting shorted to oblivion and to their death, I guess. And so, yeah, it's a short sell restriction. So you basically have to get filled on an uptick rather than a downtick, is all it means. And normally, you know, on these big type of stocks, I don't have issues getting filled on an SSR. And you can, I would highly suggest you watch this video. I actually tried to get filled on 262 shares, I think, something like that. But I actually only got filled on 22 shares. And because I don't watch my P&L, I didn't even know about it. And so I thought I was on, you know, really big size, 20%. My hotkeys worked. I actually sent the order for 226, but the uptick was only for 22 shares, and I didn't know I didn't get filled for the remainder. So probably I could have hit it just a little bit lower. It gave me that opportunity, but again, I didn't know that I wasn't at full size. And so, yeah, I was in very small size actually for this trade, but so I think there's a couple of hotkeys that I'm going to write to fix this in the future. Number one is I think that I'm going to write a hotkey that can check whenever I have my, like I'll have my total shares, the shares that I want to purchase. Then I'm going to execute an order, wait for 1 second or so, and then run a check if my position that I got filled is less than my total shares, then I'll put an alert that said, hey, you didn't get filled. So I think that's one thing that I can do in order to fix this issue in the future. The other thing, I know I've talked about this several times, is that DAS doesn't have a data point that says is SSR, even though it says SSR right here. So there's not a way that we can collect this from a data perspective. And so I think if I want to take like a VWAP continuation or some sort of short on an SSR stock, that we have the ability to build these objects. And so as part of the object property of, let's say, INTC, I want to say is SSR is true. And if SSR is true, Justin likes to hit the 5 cents lower than the bids. So instead of just hitting the bids because it's SSR restricted, you'll hit 5 cents lower than the bid, and that will kind of guarantee that, or not guarantee, but it will give you a much higher probability that since you're hitting 5 cents lower than the bid, it will uptick at least some point between now and 5 cents below the bid. That way you can still get filled on an uptick. And you can do that based on this is SSR logic. So you only hit the bids lower than 5 cents if it's on SSR. So those are two types of hotkeys that I will look to build in order to resolve this issue going forward. So anyway, then it starts to consolidate and then gets back above the 9 EMA on both, I believe the 5 minute, not quite, but clear consolidation gets above, and then it retests VWAP, and now it's pushing higher. So this was a good trade, and then while I was holding that, I also took NVDA for an opening range break. So NVDA puts in a clear consolidation here at low of day, and we'll throw this on the 1 minute as well, so you can see that we have like low of day. It breaks through it a little bit, but gets back above it, starts to consolidate, holding the 9 EMA, and then that volume is what really is all about the opening range break. So that volume comes in, burst, and so it just kind of slows down. And so I just took half. I think this was probably, I don't know, just probably about a 1R move, so not great. And then it bounces back immediately. I actually just get out of my position here because I'm holding the VWAP continuation, which is also doing an opening range break. So I was trying to manage both of them at the same time, and I was finding it difficult. And since NVIDIA seemed like it was struggling so much, I just got out of NVIDIA in order to better manage INTC, which I thought was going to melt at its opening range break. So that was that trade, and then let's see, I took one more trade. So I actually took this on the 5 minute on QQQ. And you see, this is like the bottom of the pre-market, like lows. And then we put in an opening range, which we got an opening range breaks on the Qs. And so this is kind of like a longer time frame. Not only is it coming back into VWAP after doing an opening range break, it's also coming back to its opening range break price. And then, yeah, its opening range break price, while almost putting in a second chance of the opening range break. So one of my core strategies is taking a second chance off of the opening range break, which is a retest from the opening range break price. We don't quite get there, so I did take this initial on lower volume. And if you throw this on maybe like a 2 minute, you can see, yeah, we're kind of breaking down through this consolidation, and we did lose the trend on the 2 minute. When we got confirmation, I added to it with a break here on the 5 minute. So this is prior to our breaks, and I got exactly what I wanted, but you know, we have all this consolidation area where it was rebidding off of. It just rebids again very aggressively, so I got out near break even for this trade, and then it does touch VWAP and basically do the same thing again. So I think this was a good idea, higher time frame. It didn't really work out. So with all that being said, I feel like I had a pretty good day today. Just my sizing issue on INTC is what really held me back today. But really a selectivity today, and yeah, market is really selling. So there's a lot of volatility, a lot of different ways to play this volatility, both to the long and the short side. So it's going to be a pretty interesting summer, I think. NTC is selling, Amazon is selling, Dash is not selling. Could offer a nice back through open here. So I do have a back through open here, and it got triggered. And this could be super clean. Let's see if we get a flush out through like 114. This is a pre-market low. And then really be looking for a gap fill. This is like 109 area. So really nasty 1 minute candle. The 114. We did get the break. Big bid off of 114. So we have 4.2 RVol, and I feel like people are trying to, buy this weakness here, but I think that they can quickly get stopped out, like right here even. Just go take a look at the market. The market is selling. We have Amazon, INTC that's still melting. CRWD is having problems. IWM is just kind of chilling right now. So it made like a double bottom. And this could also like provide a second chance trade at 117. So definitely it's catching a bid at the lows here. This thing is so spready and volatile. So if you were buying this breakout, this was really bad for you. So right now we're just consolidating underneath this pre-market main level of support, attempting to rebid off of the very bottom, try to get above VWAP and this second chance area. And so the entry for a second chance would actually be right here. Of course, I'm not going to take this. So it would be actually 75. So 114.75. But it did immediately reject this level. CRWD, kind of nasty. INTC. Interesting. So he's long NVDA, which is doing an opening range break right now. Kind of interesting. So I think like this level, this area here is providing support. Just don't like it. So watching this 117-ish area, 117.08. I will say, because I'm involved in this trade, I'm not really able to pay attention to a lot of other things. So this trade has a lot of opportunity cost for me, I think. So I'm setting an alert for INTC for a VWAP continuation. Definitely get something there. And right now it's still holding a trend. Very interesting. So it came right into a double top. 32. And he just gets flat here. set an alert in this area. I'm wasting so much of my time here. So I'm looking for a 9 EMA continuation off of NVIDIA. Just watching this. Ideally, it would come in touch. I think if it gets back above 106.72. I am looking at exiting. Like if it gets back above here, I'll just exit this trade. 117.74. And really looking for it to kind of break down now. But if it starts holding above VWAP past, like 10 o'clock or whatever, it's not really a good sign, and it's a lot more bullish than I thought it would be. It's already doing a lot of things I didn't think that it would do. And I have been pretty patient with this. So I'll just exit this trade here. So still watching Intel, looking for this 9 EMA, looking for the market to continue to sell. NVIDIA is still holding though. But it did give back like this entire move, so yeah, it's off the table for a VWAP continuation. And I think that if you get a VWAP continuation off of this 2107, so we get loss of trend on the 2-minute, touch of VWAP, 3 bars, a failure, loss of the 90 MA and prior bar breaks off of the rebid. So let's see, it's attempting at 15. A lot of buying here. Big rebid. So this was 15 and 15, so double bottom at 15. So it's trying to hold the 90 MA on the 2-minute. There's 17. We're also getting a 5-minute break. 5-minute break was also 15. So you get kind of some multi-time frame alignment. So I think a break of 15. We're good to go. I'm going to use 20% risk as opposed to 10% risk because this is a day one earnings play. Big bidders, 20. Got ran over. Whoa. I almost didn't get filled there. Oops. Take a look at the 1 minute. You have quite a bit of consolidation at this level, and then a breakdown, increase of volume on sort of this backside break, clear selling. So the number one thing about a VWAP continuation is always going to be a higher low. So I don't think we're there yet, but something like this, or just some rebid candle where it's clear that a higher low has now been put in. And I'm gonna keep a close eye on the market. So let me throw up NVDA. which is holding below VWAP. You have the Qs holding below VWAP. Jeff is getting long NVDA after it. I guess it's breaking trend. So you're starting to hold below the 9 EMA on the 5 minute. You also do have, we had some momentum come in, so we get kind of like this, you know, it crosses barely above on the 1 minute, and then you get the 9 EMA cross again, which is actually the entry point. So it's kind of interesting. That's kind of, you know, another strategy that people do trade off of. I'm not sure if they do it on the 1 minute. And so you are really coming into low of day here at 2054 would be where you should take profit. This thing is already down 26%. Not sure what the low of it was, but it's down a lot. Its daily chart, look at this. This is the weekly chart. This thing has been getting puked on for years. Major gap down. Anyone who's holding INTC is absolutely getting ducked on. Especially if they were buying into like this breakout area. At some point it becomes a value buy for sure, but as of right now, this is, I think, when they call catching a falling knife, right? It's day one of a major sell-off. Can this thing go lower? Absolutely. Can it just do a double bottom and hold for a while? Absolutely. This is one of those because it's such a big deal on the such a big move, such a big name. I'm going to exit my final position on the reclaim of the 9 EMA on the 5 minute. I'm still going to, you know, take my partial at this 20, probably this is 2050, so yeah, probably this 2054 area is a good area depending on how it reacts. Like, so I do like to see those flushes for an opening range break. And you see that we did actually get an opening range break. So I don't like how Q's did it, but we did get volume. So it needs to be a lot closer to this area and then a big flush on the opening range break. Amazon's super volatile today. So just coming into 2054. And if it starts to like kind of, not get through 2054 and 20, I'm assuming there's going to be massive buyers at 2050. Probably going to be a significant bounce there. And the thing is, like, the market is so weak. So XL is doing it. Really? All right. You saw that tape speed up. Bids were really getting hammered. So I just took this as it's almost an opening range break, but like, now I want to go check, put an alert in this area. Got some major risk on right now. Jeff is long NVDA. So this is the actual opening range break. You see that we get the big volume after we consolidate. Like, it dips below a little bit, but then it definitely does an opening range break. So now we're basically coming into a second chance. So this is something I've been working on, and so I usually don't take the actual opening range break. I was viewing this as a second chance, but after reviewing it now, this is a very traditional opening range break. Big volume. And so is it going to come into, get a massive flush here? Just keeping an eye on INTC. INTC is trying to get back above some of these levels. Meanwhile, NVIDIA is absolutely getting dunked on right now. So we're just about 1R here. Accidentally pushed the wrong button, but maybe that was good. I did half here. Go check on INTC, which is starting to reclaim or not. TC and NVIDIA here. So I have multiple positions on, so I need to make sure that I reset my stop. So I took a partial, so my stop is actually on NVIDIA right now, not INTC. So if I try to stop out of So I talked about this in my another video, so I'll just talk about it real quick. So Intel is 2150. The price is 2150. The stop is. Meanwhile, my stop over on NVIDIA is 103. So if I attempt to stop out INTC, yep, so I have to reset my stop here. And then I want to see if I'm going to get an opening range break. Coming into 50. I also want to keep a very close eye on NVIDIA. It's doing like a double bottom right now. Oh man, so much going on. 2050, and are we going to get a flush? So I want to take a flush. I want to take a half into the flush. So 52, there's a bunch of bidders there, and see if this is a bid decrement, and then boom. Otherwise, it could bid back up, in which case I want to take half at that moment. Just gonna get out of this so I can focus on INTC. And then we are gonna get a flush here. Bid decrement. And let's see if there's one at 50 as well. Huge bidders. And then bid decrement. Boom. And we got big volume, and I really want to see it hold below and start to really flush. And then I'll take half into like a momentum. So didn't really get what I wanted. So I just took half here on the rebid. So we did get an opening range break. And if you take an opening range break here, maybe I should just stop out at 62, which is the prior bar candle. It didn't do it. So I think this is a better way to manage this strategy other than just like simply saying a rebid. So the rebid is actually here if you're taking an opening range break on the 2-minute candle. It's definitely starting to bounce, and see the market is also, it's trying to hold here. NVIDIA is, I mean, it's trying. So remember, I wanna give it into the 90 MA, which is quite a bit of this move. It is down so much though, so maybe I shouldn't. This is the confliction about trading, right? Both sides make sense. A lot of buying here going on. We're back at 2050. Oh my god, Justin just went long. Oh, or he went short. Oh my god. What the fuck is happening? So I definitely think from a like you should definitely stop out if it gets above 62, which did not stop you out. And so I'm going to I take partial at 62 probably. Let's see, the market is trying to bounce though. That's the thing, right? So you get stopped out there at 62, and then I'm looking for, it's a lot of buying here. So I'm gonna do a starter position here, and then I think if it's we're in the 2 minute. I think it tried to do a second chance off the opening range break, but wasn't quite able to do it. I am at risk to getting stopped out because it didn't actually touch it. But I think as long as you break prior bar breaks on the 5 minute 44623. This looks pretty clean. 23 and yep. So just added there. A lot of bids getting hit on Qs. Like there is a trade here, but Okay, so I feel like the market is starting to try to bounce from this area, which if it does, it's going to put in a higher low. But interesting.